I'm a few days into the project and I've already come upon a few issues. Number one, choosing what I want to put on this virtual library. I want to choose things that are useful and beneficial, but I don't want to overwhelm them with information. I also don't want them to become too click happy and want to just open a new tab for everything just to see it. So as I go through and create these templates, deciding what goes on said template and how I'm going to break it up has become a bit of a challenge. I thought about the fact that I could create quite a few slides, but not necessarily publish them, have them on backup and readily available. This would in turn help make sure that I or my site supervisor are not overwhelmed with updating constantly, rather having those resources available and adding them in as needed. There will obviously be things that have to be updated and changed frequently, but I truly believe, for the most part, the skeleton of the virtual library can remain the same for an extended period of time. My site supervisor and I met this afternoon to discuss what would be best to add to some of the pages. I explained my ideas and why I chose them and asked for her feedback. My site supervisor is extremely encouraging and helpful and has done nothing but make sure that I feel comfortable with the information that I'm giving out. She said she loved all of the ideas I had so far, such as linking book reviews to popular books, adding in information for reading incentive programs, and linking authors' websites and read alouds. She did mention that some read alouds may not be as interesting to students as others, especially with this age group. When we talked about the length of novels as kids get older, we decided that a good way to compromise would be to have read alouds with poetry or verse. We both expressed that students have a hard time reading and understanding poetry, so it would be a great idea to have a focus on there for them to constantly hear and practice. I was actually very afraid that I would not find resources that were going to be able to be shared. But due to COVID and all of the issues that it brought, it did bring some pretty awesome perks. For example, many publishing companies and authors are giving up their rights and allowing us to use read alouds and have ebook versions for free. For reluctant readers, this is an amazing opportunity that they have to be able to engage in a text on a very different level. In addition, many YouTube videos have the same novel in a different language. I can link that video to work with our English learners and newcomers. As my project came to an end and I began to self-assess, I really took the time to break it down from an outsider's point of view. The best way to see if something is useful or beneficial is to have the same mindset of the user. In this aspect, students. I wanted to make sure that the templates were inviting but not overwhelming, that the resources were there, but again, not too many to make it overwhelming and cluttered. When it came to those resources, especially for Gale, EBSCO, etc., I chose the ones that were used the most and frequented the most during the past school year to choose for the virtual library. While I did choose to put all of them linked from the clipboard, I thought it would be a good idea to highlight a few specific ones. One of the biggest things I've noticed about others' virtual library is the lack of resources. I wanted the availability of not only novels, ebooks, audiobooks, and resources for research and informational purposes readily available, but I wanted it also to be easily navigating on the student part as well as the librarians. I've noticed that some virtual libraries consist of one page. Some consist of a few pages. Because I was gearing this towards high school students, I opted to add in a few pages because I felt that they would be able to handle that information. On the other hand, if I was creating this for a middle school or elementary school, I would definitely go about it in a different way. Elementary students would probably receive that one single page for them to navigate through. I think I chose the right amount of slides or pages, right amount of resources, and just the right amount of clicks that the kids will need to get through. With a project like this, one has to continuously self-assess because you will be continuously updating that virtual library. For example, right now in there is the current list for the Tasha's winners and nominations. Soon enough, that will need to be updated. A task that I will have to take on or teach my site supervisor how to do so. Overall, I am extremely pleased with the outcome of this project, and I can't wait to share it as a finished project. In the future, I might go about this virtual library a little different. While I'm extremely pleased of the outcome that I have created, I know now a huge amount of new things, ideas, and available resources that I can use to continue to edit, change, and improve the virtual library. I am currently teaching 7th grade ELA, and after creating a virtual library, I'm extremely interested in creating a virtual classroom for my students. The classroom would have many of the same features as the web page for the library because as an ELA teacher, I want to be able to have the resources for research and informational literacy right at the tips of their fingers. So, what does this look like as a finalized project? Let's take a look. The first thing everyone will see is the following. It has the welcome to the Kempner High School Virtual Library audio that I embedded. It has our library homepage and our Twitter page, a smiling face, and links on the side. When you click research, it will bring you over to all of the resources available. Each one is clickable and linked, as well as the clipboard having the full list of resources. That home button takes you right back here. And this will bring you to our club list. Poetry and book club are both available with the Constitution and bylaws attached. The Cybercodes book club also has a Goodreads page attached here. If A new student would like to fill out an interest form to join the poetry or book club or both, they'll click my Bitmoji and it will open them up to a new tab. When you go back, the next link brings you to the different genres. Each genre right now is linked individually to either a Goodreads page, the online school database and catalog, or specific reading incentive programs. Last but not least, each one of the photos up here links you to the different reading incentive programs. I decided that even though it was on the high school level, I wanted to keep the Bluebonnet and Lone Star reading list for any individuals that are on a lower reading level or are struggling. I would rather have the students read something than nothing at all. Each one of these books is also linked where you can receive reviews and information on it. Everything added to each one of these templates was done by me. Everything from the sofa to the plants, the Bitmojis, and the links. In the end, I think this turned out exceptional.